Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Craig. How are you?
I'm doing great, and congratulations to you and your Otter swimmers and divers on just a tremendous weekend. The Otters win the Section 3A title, 415 points. You kind of blew away the competition there, Coach.
Yeah, we're very happy. It was a little tougher meet than what the score says. You know, we had a lot of close races, but the kids performed very excellently on a Saturday, and again, this has been quite a team. You know, the CLC Conference champions and undefeated, and they've always risen to the occasion and extremely proud of their efforts.
You know, Tom, we look at the times on Saturday compared to Friday, and you almost across the board, you improved your times from day one to day two. How do these guys do that?
Well, we're hoping that we prepared them for that. I mean, that was part of the taper part of it and part of the whole season. You know, we started this procedure way back in the first week of the season, and so we really prepared hard. We had special sets that kind of were designed to get them ready for the last 12.5 yards of the race. And we reminded them that, you know, when you at that 12.5 mark, think of some of the sets we did and some of the pain you went through in your preparation for this, and I think it really worked. And they're crisp, you know, and also momentum's so important. A medley relay, you know, for example, dropped, I believe, a second, and their splits were awesome. And when the kids see the splits, they say, hey, I'm ready for my event. And across the board, we did just a beautiful job.
Yeah, it was very impressive to look at those times and see the drops after swimming on Friday and then having to bounce back in a championship setting on Saturday and respond the way these kids did. And let's talk about the state qualifiers, because you've got 10 kids going to state, 3 relays. All 3 of your relays made it, and that was important in that it gives you a chance now to really compete at state for a top finish, doesn't it?
Well, you know, if you're going to be in the top 5, you have to have 3 relays score, and we have, you know, 2 that should be in the top 3. Our 400 free relay and 200 medley relay should be somewhere in the top 3 or 4, and then our 200 freestyle relay that qualified 4th on Friday took 2nd place and really looked sharp. We had, I believe, all 4 swimmers in that relay had their best splits ever, and we think we can tweak that a little bit, but we're very pleased with that. We're hoping they can get in the top 10 or top 8 even.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting to see, and you did, as you said, win both the 200 medley relay and the 400 freestyle relay. Those have been strong events for you throughout the last several years, but again, you know, starting and finishing the meet, gaining the momentum early and finishing strong, but I just love the way you do that.
Well, it's been a blessing. It really has been. You know, it's like bookends, you know.
Right.
And as a coach, it's always fun, and as a team, it's always fun. So I think these boys have had quite a year, and we constantly remind them that just don't take this for granted, you know, and realize that this is a real special year, and we take one year at a time, and again, they've performed well, they've worked hard. The chemistry in this team has been so good, you know, and it's been a team that's been fun to coach.
Well, they win graciously, you know. It's not an in-your-face type of a victory. They're very gracious as winners, it seems.
That's what I'm really proud of. We spend a lot of time on sportsmanship and talk about the big picture, and I love it to see them shaking hands with competitors. Some of these competitors they know very well. Others they're new to them, and I like that. Before they swim, afterwards, they're in the water. The 400 freestyle relay was particularly special because Mike Hurley finished, and there's a Cole Bateman who's from Hutchinson, who's a very good swimmer, and afterwards they gave each other a hug. And to me, that's what it's all about in swimming. I mean, all about in competition is when you really respect your competition a little bit, and hey, the race is over, and good luck and congratulations.
You had a couple of events where you have 3 individuals who qualified, and that's rare to see that happen, where you have multiple events where you do that in a section meet, isn't it?
It's very rare. I mean, it's been a long time since we've done that. And again, the format of this statement is a little bit different, too, we should mention. There's only 4 sections in Class A for boys, and so we have 4 participants qualifying every event. So you can either qualify by time or by place. A good example would be like the butterfly. Where in the butterfly we have 3 qualifying. We have Keegan, Andrew, and we have Joe Kisman. Joe Kisman qualified by time. And so, again, this is one of our deeper events. Same thing in regards to the IM, where we have 3 qualified in that one event, and this should be a very solid event for us. And the breaststroke, we have 2 qualified. So we're extremely deep and excited about those events.
The 200 IM, Mike Hurley set a new pool record and a new section record to win it, and then Eric Money was third, and Cal Moritzen fourth, and Eric saved a little bit for that 100 breaststroke too, because he set a new pool record and won the title there, and Cal Moritzen also is going in that event, so he qualified by time in that event, so another event where you had a time qualifier.
Yes, and it was just, it's always special when a senior is able to come and win his particular event, and I think the crowd really appreciate Eric winning that event and qualifying for state, setting a pool record.
A pretty outstanding day. Keegan Hurley, again, just phenomenal. He took first in the 100 fly for you, and then was second in the 200 freestyle, and this young man is sure made great strides over the last couple of years.
He really has, and again, he epitomizes preparation. He's the first young man in the pool. He's the last one to leave. He's always running a coaching clinic during practice and of himself, and I'm sure he does that in cross country and track too, and those are what you really love to coach, athletes like that.
Tell me about Jacob Fisher, Tom, and what he's done for this team. He swam in 3 relays for you, and his one individual event, the 100 freestyle, he went out and turned in a great time, 49.42, and qualified there as well. That takes a lot out of a guy, I would think, in 3 different relay events.
Well, this is what's really great about the whole team, is that they're into the team concept, and Jay could have swam 2 individual events and probably would have gone to state 2 individual events and 2 relays, but he was willing to be on a 200 free relay and help that to get to state, and then we gave him his choice of his event. He loved the 100 freestyle, so we put him in there, and I knew he was going to split up 49, and he did. He's going stronger every day. Very smart swimmer, has a deep background in swimming. He's been swimming since 6 or so, and so has really matured into a very good athlete.
You have, of course, another week here before the state meet, and I'm just curious, you talk about the taper, and how many of these athletes have not reached their taper peak yet, and you are tapering specifically for state?
Well, that's a good question. We have at least 4 on here that we tapered for state, and that's a tricky move because you can get burned on that real quick. And they're lucky to be strong enough and smart enough to actually swim through this meet a little bit. And but I will say this, there's other athletes who have not tapered and will be tapered for state, and that's how you do that. And we'll do an interesting practice tonight, and tomorrow we'll have our last practice here, and then we're going to leave early on Wednesday, and actually we stay up at the Radisson, which is a kind of attached to the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center in some ways, and the boys will actually go over and warm up and probably cook hard one of the pools over there Wednesday evening, and then we have another warm-up Thursday to get ready for the meet on Friday.
I'm sure they'll be raring to go when they get down to the U of M. Now, the other thing that happened on Saturday is you qualified a diver for state. I don't know if you've had time to look back through and find out the last time that happened, but Michael Osnes, the sophomore, coming through for you.
Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to call Inga Nelson today and find out to make sure. I think I have the right name, but I'm going to confirm with her, so I'll have a better idea tonight. But yeah, Michael and Kyle Rust, Mikey Petruska, and Reed Magnuson, they dove really, really well, and we scored a ton of points in diving. And congratulations to Mike Hartwell, who's done a great job in really building this program. Kyle Rust, for some of you may not know, actually hurt his eardrum about 3 weeks ago, and he's only had limited practice time and really performed great and almost made the 4th place cut and taking 5th. And Michael Osnes has just grown as a diver. Last year he couldn't even do a reverse dive, and now he does 11 dives, and he's going to state. And of course he has the personality to be a good diver because he likes to get up on the board and give a nice smile to the judges, and it's kind of showtime every time you're up there, and he's kind of a natural at that. So we're very happy for him and looking forward to what he can do at the state level.
Well, it's going to be an exciting week for the Otter swimmers, and just a tremendous accomplishment for you on Saturday with that team section championship. And I know the section meet, Tom, is about qualifying individuals for state. You did that, but the secondary goal there is to win that state title. And Once that's done, that has to feel pretty good too.
Well, we're just going to see what we can do and see how close we can get. There's some really good teams out there, and I'm not an expert on teams. I'm sure there's some of the swim community here really have been following, like Monticello and Breck and St. Thomas and some of the other teams down there. But my basic motive or mission right now is to prepare what we have and see if we can squeak another second off their time so they can move up a little bit in the state standings. And I think then things will take care of themselves. I also like to mention that the Section 3A Swimmer of the Week meet, was Michael Hurley, and so well deserved. And what a nice way to kind of end your senior year as a high school swimmer to capture the 3A Section Swimmer of the meet voted by the coaches.
Yeah, that's outstanding for Michael, for sure. Well, we wish you well on the weekend, Tom. Thanks again for your time this morning, for all the great work you do with these kids, and an outstanding accomplishment by your team on Saturday at Morris.
Well, thank you, Craig, and I appreciate all your support.
That's Tom Uvaas, the head coach of the Otter boys swimming and diving team, our guests on this Monday morning on Talkin Sports.